Hello, everybody. All right. As you noticed, Tim is not here yet. He said he mentioned me earlier that he might be a little late because he's being interviewed on Drawn and Quartered right now. So, we hope to have him here sometime early on in the show. As we wait for him and we give people a chance to come in. As always, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, um, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Oh, with that being said, we're of course going to, as I said, wait things out a little bit. As I said, if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to share them, and we'll try to answer any questions to the best of our ability. All right. Anyways, Hong Kong Fooey, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fooey, quicker than the human eye. Chicka chong, chicka wong, wong, wong. Hong Kong Fooey, that's terrific. Scooby, Scooby Doo Doo. Hey, Scooby, where are you? Over here. Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. He laughs and plays, sing and dance all day. Casper, the friendly ghost, friendliest ghost you know. Anyways, I'm gonna step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. But what I will do, of course, I'll put some music on for you guys to listen to while I'm gone. I'll be right back. Take care of something real quick. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Anybody else here? I guess not yet. Well, I guess what we'll do then, since we're already at the 4.5 minute mark, so I have to do this real quick. Also do one more thing here. Then after that, we'll talk about what's on tap for tonight. All right. All right. Anyways, as we wait for Tim now, But what's on tap for tonight? So tonight, of course, it's Thursday, so it's our the night we normally weekly look at the Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Fool. We'll be going over that article tonight. Looking at three more comics that went on that are being promoted right now. Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up. Quite a bit happened on Dynamite last night, so we'll talk about that. Talk about um, obviously WWE's reaction to it. Kind of talk a little bit about what's coming up this weekend for AEW, as well as go over what's going on tonight on TNA. As of course TNA and AEW continue to prepare for their upcoming pay-per-views next weekend, the 20th TNA's Rebellion, and the 21st AEW's Dynasty. So with that, and of course we'll have this day in Meets history as well. So with that, let's see, and we still don't have anybody here yet. Okay. All right, so we're at the 6.5 minute mark now, so I guess we will go ahead then and get started. Hopefully, Tim will join us at some point to give his perspective on things. I need to go ahead and open this up then. Alrighty then. So, alright, so let's take a look at this then. Alright, so here we go. We're going to get started here. Indie Comic Showcase number 268, Baron Soil, Annabelle, and Jesus Ninja Saga, or Jesus Ninja Saga. Article by Chris Braley, published yesterday. Now, Baron Soil, I know the guy who's doing that one, I believe, was on RJ's show the other day, on Monday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. So let's take a look at this then. See if anybody's here yet. All right, so let's. All right, so welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle, and of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. Or, of course, you can catch us here on Thursdays when we cover the article as well. Let's see it. All right. Yeah. So, continuing on with the article, then. So, on Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. So, the first one's Annabelle by Todd Rayner. So let me go grab the link there to put in the chat. And this one's a Kickstarter campaign. All right. So, all right. So there's that one. If you guys want to go check that one out, if you guys want to, there's the link to that campaign. If you guys want to go check that one out, let's see. Okay. All right. So that's okay. Annabelle by Todd Rayner. So let's go ahead and get into. That looks like a pretty nasty dragon, doesn't it? Not something I'd want to meet in a dark alley. I don't think. I don't think any of us would want to meet that thing in a dark alley, unless we're friends with it, maybe. But all right. So Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase. Todd, hit our readers with elevator pitch for your Annabelle. Todd Rayner. Annabelle is kidnapped by ancient Sumerian dragon named Ker. As held captive, she learns about her past, and her fiance and friend must find and help her escape and put an end to Ker treachery. This book is aimed at teenage readers and up. All right, some editing could have been done there to make that flow a little better. But anyways, and as always, guys, if you haven't already, of course, you guys can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So with that, we'll continue on here. Chris, where did you come up with the idea for Annabelle? Todd, my first creator-owned book was called Ice Pick and featured Annabelle's first appearance. This book is her story. Here are some very interesting. You have some people bound in X form there. Chris, what's your comic book history? Todd, as a longtime comic fan, I grew up just before the image boom and started drawing in my teenage years. My style is reminiscent of the over-the-top fun style of the 90s. My first ice pick is just that. And Annabelle picks up with a whole new art team, continuing a strong art style as well. My creative process is pretty simple. I start with an overarching outline of the story, then I break it down into individual issues. Then I script out each individual issue and handed it off to the artist. My creative team is from South America. I have a pencil, inker, and colorist. What's great about this team is they all bring their own unique style into each phase of making this book. The result is a high quality, fun, story driven book. That guy looks like he's getting tortured there. Let's see. All right. How far along is the book? Chris asks. Todd responds, the first two issues are complete. And this crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter is for issue 3. The story will consist of 4 issues, and there will be a trade released after after that will add additional art and behind the scenes pages as well. Oh, here's some fan service here. I guess they figured that it's enough to just cover up the nipples, and that will suffice. Oh boy, you got some fan service there, and they figure, well, if we just put some kind of light ring around right over the nipples on the breasts, and I guess that will be okay. Yeah, I don't know how people would find that be true, but anyways, let's see now. Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing through this process? Todd, there's a lot to be learned from self-publishing. For me, I've learned to stay consistent and to make myself available to the fans who support me on social media and at comic conventions. Chris, what are your plans beyond this book? Are there more stories to tell? Todd, absolutely. There's more stories of how. Um, the next story I will be working on will be the third character in my story of characters. His name is Luke, and this will be a horror supernatural book. Annabelle, Luke, and there she is right there. Um, Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Todd, if you're a fan of comic books in general, ancient dragons, hot chicks, kicking butt, and superheroes, this definitely could be a book up your alley. Thanks, Todd. Good luck on the campaign. So that one kind of went kind of quick for a lot of. That one went quick on the on there. So, anyways, yeah. Now the next book is Barren Soil from Chris Wozniak, who, as I mentioned, was on RJ's show the other day. RJ Carter, Critical Blast. Of course, some of you may have heard he lost his case in court. And from the sounds of it, I don't think he's planning on. I don't think he's planning on appealing, only because it just is too much of a financial burden. So, anyways, there. So let's go grab the. Let's go grab, and this one's a Fund My Comic project, of course. And we got that. The story is called Barren Soul by Chris Wozniak. Let me go ahead and. So if you guys want to go check that book out, there's the link to that. Let's see now. So let's take a look at this now. Now that we all that. All right. So Chris Braley, tell me about your Barren Soil series on Fund My Comic, Chris. Chris Wozniak. It's a noir anthology series. It's a bit like if Edgar Allan Poe were exhumed to write a season of Black Mirror that was set in the filthy backdrop of New York City in the early 70s. It does have a superhero in it with a really bleeped up origin tale, in parentheses here, Baron Soil number one, but it doesn't have any powers in it. The universe is very grounded, but there's something really wrong with it. Every character senses some type of ominous impending doom for themselves, but they don't know how to avoid it their ill-fated destiny because they can't. Yet issue to issue, it seems like a vicious crime drama. It's only when you read multiple issues do you begin to realize things are even worse than they've been portrayed. Interesting hook there. Interesting way to grab you and bring you into that world, huh? Hmm. Uh, all right, Chris, you've been doing comics for years at the Big Two. What made you decide to self-publish this? I think, well, I think part of it may be the court case, but anyways, Wozniak. Um, I don't believe Marvel or DC is interested in original story material like this. They're stuck doing a million variations of the characters they already have because no one will invent anything new for them anymore. Yeah, and considering what they've been doing with some of these reimaginings, as it were, people are kind of turning away from them. You know. But anyways, Barren Soil um, is its own very unique thing, and it's my vision. So I have to do it myself without editorial oversight, or the series would be compromised to the point of destruction. Wow. Wow, dude is very ominous in his speech. I just run the issues by other pros that I trust to be honest with me, like Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, basically CG guys, right? Comic skaters, etc. They'll be straight with you. We're big boys. We want to hear the harsh criticisms. It doesn't do me any good to say everything is great if it isn't. Yeah, because if you try to, if you do that, people are liable to think you're a used car salesman or something like that. People won't want to buy your book. So, anyways, as we of course continue on here, what kind of comic reader is this suited for? Braley asked. Wozniak, in response, anyone who appreciates really dark thrillers, and I do mean dark. My only writing interests are very grim epic adventures and bleeped up humor stories, but I enjoy them both. So anyone who digs mystery or crime stories, they'll get a good fix reading Barren Soil. Hmm. So here's some of the. So Braley, um, how would you describe your style and creative approach to this? Wozniak. Barren Soil is stylistically, for me, a brand new departure in terms of style. I knew the story warranted an art style along the lines of Miller, Mazzucchelli, and Toth. Um, but I had never drawn anything like that before. I just started with panel 1 and gave it my best shot. I figured it out as I went along, which was a bit of a female dog. As I mentioned, I had never even opened Procreate before, but I wanted my workplace to be portable. It worked out for the best because I just wanted everyone to get the best crime stories in the current crime hit industry, or current comic industry. In parentheses, not too difficult a task, to be honest, not nowadays. Actually, he might have had, as we've all seen, he might have had a bit more of a challenge if he'd done it, let's say, 80, 90 years ago, right? If, for those who've watched the historical comics retrospect on Friday, you know what I'm talking about. But a lot of pros seem to dig the art too. I'll take it. See, no, nobody else here yet. Chris then asks, "Is this a one-man band project?" Wozniak. Well, okay, that was Braley. So Wozniak, all me, right down to the lettering. That's one of the reasons I had to simplify my workflow, nail the storytelling, then shut the bleep up, and move on to the next panel. When you're doing everything yourself, in parentheses, including marketing, you have to pick your battles. I know drawing all the seams and shoelaces on a costume does exactly zero to improve the reading experience. So I let all the rendery noodling go and didn't look back. So he's doing everything on here. He's the writer, the artist, the penciler, the inker, colorist. quite the many different hats to be worn. How far? Okay, Braley then asks, "How far along is this project?" Wozniak replies, "First issue is complete. Working on issue number 2 now. Doing everything in Procreate on an iPad Pro. First time using the program for me, but I think I'm over the learning curve now. I also write on the iPad as well, mostly lying in front of the fireplace in my house. I stack up a huge pile of wood a week later." Oh, okay. Interesting. As long as you're not throwing any books in there, right? I've got a finished story. I put notes on postcards and just go. There's never a second draft or rewrites. If the story wasn't already in my head, I wouldn't have started typing. I'm a big fan of then but quote, then my character tries to do this, but this bleeped up thing happens, unquote. I just keep doing that from postcard to postcard like a breadcrumb trail until I hit the payoff at the end. My stories seem very structured, but that's just a knack from a lifetime of reading. Mystery paperbacks. I freewheel quite a bit. I engage in catastrophic thinking very easily. I do write full scripts, though, even for myself. The way when it comes time to draw, this way when it comes time to draw, I'm not second guessing what needs to be done. So having everything prepped, prepped from the beginning, that's usually a good thing. Let's see there. All right. I'm gonna get check something here real quick before we continue on reading. That's what I was trying to do. All right. All right. At least we have. Hello, Barbary Coast. I'm back. What's your favorite moon pit? Don't have one because I don't. Let's see. As always, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with that, let's continue on with the article here. Braley, what have you been learning from self-publishing and crowdfunding through this process? Wozniak. That I love making comics, but promoting them is a drag on my time. I'd much rather be writing new stories. Yeah, but then what's the point? I know promoting them can be a bit of a drag, but if you don't promote them, who's going to read them when you write them, dude? All right. Braley, any special features in this campaign you'd like to mention? Wozniak, I'm giving away free digital copies of the first issue to entice new backer to support the series. Can't beat that one. All right. And we have SP March 17 here. Can you do the Jetsons Eat song? Didn't you ask me this the other day, dude, when he came on? Eat or eat or eat or that means I love you. Come fly with me, so high with me. Eat pop orc means I love you. Do 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 do. Anyways, back to the article here. Oh, wait. I guess there was another comment. Hey, that's okay. Hey, it's a fun song. I don't blame you for wanting to hear it again. I don't blame you for that song's a fun song. So I mean, it's no, not the biggest deal. Just there's more out there than just that. Anyways, Braley, any special features in this campaign you'd like to mention? All right. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We already did all that. So, okay. So, anyways, moving on to the next part here. Braley, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Wozniak, Baron's Hill #1 is getting early rare reviews from a bunch of industry professionals. Someone actually offered to privately fund issue #2 if I don't hit my crowdfunding goals. He liked it that much. Wow. So I just need everyone to get the word out and I'll do the rest. And then Braley, it looks great, Chris. We're rooting for you. And just in case you guys are wondering why I said Braley and Wozniak, because both guys' first name is Chris. So to kind of, again to kind of keep everybody, to know who's speaking to who. Do you think Trina Nishimura grew up watching Disney films? Um, I guess you're saying just asking your opinion. I don't know because um, I haven't heard or seen anything. I mean, I would imagine a lot of people, depending upon which era and stuff like that, probably did see, their fair share of Disney films, in their lifetime. I've seen my fair share, and I'm sure most people have seen their fair share as well. And Trina's probably no exception. Um, so, um, oh, anyways, and we have one more, of course, comic to be, and for those who may not know who SP was just asking about, Trina Nishimura is a voice actress based out of Dallas. She, basically worked a lot with, of course, what used to be known as Funimation now is Crunchyroll. So basically, she's based out of Dallas, like a lot of the ones who are formerly of Funimation, now Crunchyroll. But Crunchyroll, I think, is now combined. You got the Dallas-based voice actors working alongside the LA-based voice actors now. So, anyways, getting ready to hit the next part of the next part of the next part of the next comic to be promoted here, Ninja Jesus Saga by Steven Anderson. So let's go grab. That sounds like a very interesting title to say the least. Let's go grab that link. That's a Fun My Comic. That's a Fun My Comic project. That sounds like a very interesting title. I'm sure there are a few people on here who, a few of my co-hosts at times and stuff like that, would probably also. Oh wait, no. What am I doing? That's not what I'm trying for. All right, so if you guys want to go check that one out, there's the link to that. If you guys want to go check out that particular comic. So let's go ahead and look at it. So Ninja Jesus Saga by Steven Anderson. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Steven. Briefly tell us the elevator pitch for this book. Steven Anderson, it's Christmas Day, and the Almighty God is nowhere to be found. It's up to Jesus Christ to don his divine sword, holy chucks, mercy gloves, and a whole arsenal of heavenly weapons in search of the only place that he could possibly be. Hell. Only to discover that Satan is missing too. Oh boy, I know of a few Christians out there who'd probably be having a fit about this one. Oh boy! Already, this sounds like a parody that I think a lot of Christians would not be able to take in jest. Anyways, let's continue on. So, Chris then asked, "Where did the idea for this comic come from, and made you decide to self-publish it?" Stephen, this will probably be the most controversial project ever. Yeah. I would have to agree with that based on the title. Ninja Jesus was born from three ideas. One was Ninja Gaiden on the original Xbox. Um, Dante Inferno, which I was reading at the time. Nah, I lied. I was playing that on PS3. And the third was an episode of American Dad titled The Rapture. In my story, Ninja Jesus would take on the seven deadly sins, where for this story, all of the deadly sins were powerful dictators, serial killers, and famous celebrities from my pop culture. Um, People that lived and then died um, from their so-called sins. Oh boy! Oh yeah! This this is gonna probably start a few screaming matches. All right, so Chris, tell us about your style and creative process. Stephen, drawing inspiration from such diverse and talented artists like Jim Lee, Michael Turner, Carlos Pacheco, Brian Hitch, and the Kubert brothers, um, can undoubtedly enrich your creative process and help you develop your own unique artistic voice within the world of comics. Keep studying their work, experimenting with different techniques, and pushing the boundaries of your creativity to continue growing as an artist. Interesting advice there. Hmm. All right. All right, Chris. How far along is the book? How does this production work for you? Stephen, being a full-time police officer here in Missouri, it's tough to find the time to really dive into my art like I want. But you know what? I find inspiration in the everyday calls I go on. After some of those long, intense days, I'll make my way to my little studio. Even if I can only manage to draw one panel, that's what I'll do. Just one panel. And let me tell you, it's not easy juggling the demands of the job with my passion of creating art. But I believe in finding balance. Those moments in the studio, even if they're short, they mean everything to me. It's my way of processing everything I see and experience out there on the streets. I got quite a bit to say here on the matter. I'm not too hard on myself, though. I understand the importance of celebrating those small victories. Every stroke of the pencil, every line I put down, it's progress, and I take pride in that. My experience as a cop, um, my experiences as a cop, they shape my art in ways I never imagined. They give it depth, meaning, um, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, I'll keep on doing what I do. serving the community out there and expressing myself in here, one panel at a time. Interesting artwork there. Is Tim? Oh, there's Elk. Hey, Elk. This is kind of dumb. He's a Missouri police officer, and I think um, that's consistent. Publishing Ninja Jesus. Well, hey, that's I guess that's how he feels about it. Yeah, but I don't know if anybody else would feel that that would fly in New York. It might not work in Missouri. Yeah, but then good thing crowdfunding extends beyond. Good thing crowdfunding though, Elk, extends beyond Missouri. There, I get what you're saying because when I first saw the title Ninja, Jesus Saga, I knew it was gonna probably be controversial. I see a lot of Christians out there, particularly those in the South, who are probably not going to take too kindly to what this guy's doing. Okay, I get that, but it doesn't mean that there aren't going to be other people around the country who may not find it appealing. If it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But anyways, getting back to the article here. Let's see. Yeah. So Chris asked, "What have you been learning yourself up through this process?" Steven then replies, "It's all hard. Laugh out loud, man. Let me tell you, getting this whole thing off the ground, it's been a journey I never expected. You pour your heart and soul into your work, right? You've got this killer idea, a story that resonates, art that you're proud of. You're thinking, quote, this is it? This is going to take off, unquote. This is it. This is going to take off. But then reality hits. You put it out there and crickets. No one's talking about it. No one's backing your project. It's like hitting a brick wall, and let me tell you, it stings. It really messes with your ego. You know, you start questioning everything. Is my idea not as good as I thought? Is my story not hitting the mark? Maybe my art just isn't cutting it. Doubt starts creeping in, and it's hard to shake off. But you know what? It's all part of the process. Every creator goes through it. It's the highs and lows of chasing your dreams. And yeah, it sucks. But here's the thing: here's the thing: you can't let it break you. It's true. I think yeah, some cop hater will pretend to be Christian and stir the pot about it. I'd give it 70-30. He has a fuss. Mm. Well, I don't even see it being a cop hater. I can actually see legitimate Christians having a bit of a problem with this. There are a lot of Christians out there who may not be as privy to Kant, who might not care for this depiction of Jesus. You know, but Let's see. So you got to keep pushing. We're continuing on with Steven's response here. Keep hustling. Maybe your project just needs a bit more exposure, a different angle. Maybe it's just not the right time yet. Who knows? But one thing's for sure. If you believe in your idea, if you're passionate about your story and your art, then don't give up on it. Keep grinding, keep putting yourself out there because one day um, someone's um, gonna see what you see. Someone's gonna believe in your vision as much as you do. And when that day comes, all the struggles, all the doubts, they'll be worth it. Trust me on that. Hmm. All right, continuing on here. Chris, what are some of your plans beyond this book? Steven, Screamin' Rabbit Studios is here to stay, folks. We're not just about one project. We've got a whole lineup ready to blow your minds. Um, get ready for some serious storytelling with our upcoming titles. First up, we've got Urban Knights, um, quote unquote. Think gritty city streets, mass vigilantes, and epic showdowns against crime. It's gonna be one wild ride. Um, then there's quote Old Man and the Talking Dog unquote. Trust me, this ain't your typical buddy duo. Um, we're talking about adventures that'll make you laugh, cry, and everything in between. Next on the list is quote Gurfin Inheritance unquote. Yeah, Gurfin Inheritance. Um, get ready to dive into the world of ancient secrets, family legacies, and mystical powers. You won't be able to put it down. And how about, quote, children of mass destruction, unquote? This one's gonna hit hard, folks. It's a story of survival, sacrifice, and the fight for a better tomorrow. For all you action lovers out there, we've got, quote, Amazonian mambas, unquote. Picture fierce warriors, untamed jungles, and battles that'll leave you breathless. Then there's Earthstas, quote unquote. It's a mind bending journey where nothing is as it seems, and danger lurks right behind your back. So he's got a number of projects. Looks like he's really trying to promote out there. It's like, I know people would argue it's hard enough to promote one project, but but looks like he's got like five or six he's actually doing all around the same time here. That could be straining on anybody, I would think. But anyways, and for those of you who grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and remember the good old days of 80s cartoons, I believe is how it should be said, we've got something special for you, quote unquote, Bushido Roaches. Oh boy. It's a nostalgic trip back to your childhood with a twist that'll keep you hooked. So buckle up, folks, because Screamin' Rabbit Studios is about to take you on a wild ride through worlds you've never imagined. Get ready to lose yourself in the magic of storytelling. Don't we all want to do that? Lose ourselves in the magic of storytelling? Ew. Chris, Anything else you would like to share with our readers? Stephen? All right, folks, listen up. I want to introduce you to something truly unique, something that might challenge your perception, but will definitely blow your mind. The Ninja's Jesus Saga. Um, Now, before you jump to any conclusions, let me set the record straight. We're not talking about the Jesus from 2,000 years ago, the one you've read about in the Bible. This is a whole new take, a modern day Jesus in the year 2023. And guess what? He's in heaven. Yeah, you heard me right. Picture this: Jesus, the ultimate BA, um, mastering the art of ninjutsu up in the clouds. We're talking about a story filled with action, intrigue, and a whole lot of divine butt kicking. But here's the kicker. What, Jesus isn't the kicker? We're not just retelling the same old story. We're flipping the script, giving you a fresh perspective on one of history's most iconic figures. So I'm asking you all to approach this with an open mind. Forget everything you think you know about Jesus. This isn't about religion or dogma, it's about storytelling, pure and simple. So strap in, folks, because the Ninja Jesus Saga is about to take you on a wild ride like nothing you've ever experienced before. Open your minds and get ready for a journey into the unknown. Let's see. It's only a matter of time before ninja and samurai comics are declared stereotypical and racist. Yeah, at the rate we're going, I can see your point there. But considering that ninja and samurai manga are still pretty popular over in Japan, I don't know if we will get to that point. I think people will continue to read those manga and still won't care. They won't care what the woke have to say about it. All right, so that's it for this installment. If you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available to purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here. And follow Indie Comic Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics. And reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Until next time, support Indie Comics. There you go. Well, that's all we have for you on the articles part. So now, of course, we're going to move on to the wrestling wrap up. As I said earlier, there was quite a bit of a stir coming off of last night's Dynamite due to the fact of what's happening. So we'll let's go over that real quick. You'll go not just over the results, but also some of the promos that also went down last night. Because one of the things, see, do you watch? Did you watch Muppets 19? Not really. I saw maybe a few episodes, but I never really regularly watched it. I did watch Muppet Babies though later. Anyways, back to what we're talking about here. So last night, Dynamite saw a few things going on, including, of course, aside from the matches, one of the big stories that was coming out last night was was that they were going to show the footage from last year's All In pay-per-view the fight between Jack Berry and CM Punk. Some of you may have heard CM Punk had had given an interview with Ariel Helwani, basically criticizing Tony Khan. And based on everything we've seen over the last couple of weeks here, Tony Khan has not been too happy with the criticism. Anyways, I need to make some lighting adjustments here, so I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put on some music while I'm gone. Just need to take a moment to make some lighting adjustments here. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back now. So let's see now. So as I was saying, I just want to go check something here real quick. Remind myself of some of the other, due to some of the other. I just. All right, so there we go. So. All right, so just had to check kind of the exact order it all went in, but anyway, so on last night Dynamite, the show opened up. Initially, they were going to have what ended up being the main event to start the show, the World Title Eliminator match, only for Strickland to come out and attack Joe before the match. So they ended up postponing that match till the end of the show. But the show did open up with a title match, a TNT title match, in which Adam Copeland retained in what proved to be a very solid match over Penta El Zero Miedo. Now, couple of segments had happened right after that before the second match got underway. Of course, as had been previously reported over the last week, AEW was going to show the footage from All In response to, and what is believed to be in response to CM Punk's criticisms of AEW and Tony Khan in particular, which in essence ended up being kind of a nothing burger, because it was just as Punk said. It wasn't really much of a scuffle. It was just, and if anything, whatever they hope to achieve by doing this, they even try to work it into kind of the storyline with the Young Bucks, with the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, and FTR, as the two teams will be facing off against each other at Dynasty, a week from this Sunday. The winner of that match will be the first 3-time AEW World Tag Team Champions. So will it be Young Bucks? Well, they kind of were trying to work it into their storyline by suggesting that maybe FTR had a hand in that scuffle, but it's been revealed that that didn't really go over too well. a lot of people believe that it turned away a lot of a lot of fans who maybe aren't familiar with the AEW product. But also, even some of the diehard AEW fans were like scratching their heads, okay, why are we still talking about this? Even FTR in their response to it came out and said, why are we still talking about this? This was 8 months ago. Not even with our company anymore. Why are we even, a lot of people believe that, a lot of this is being driven by Tony Khan. Tony Khan not only showing his lack of professionalism here, but showing just how thin his skin is. And then, of course, right after that, I think they had another promo where Will Ospreay came out. Now, Will Ospreay, probably in all of this, Will Ospreay actually had some things to say, without saying his actual name. Had a little dig back at Triple H for a comment he made at WrestleMania, where Triple H had claimed that the reason some of the new signees like Ospreay, like Okada, like Mercedes, the only reason that they signed with AEW and not with WWE is because they couldn't handle the grind of the WWE, the WWE, schedule lifestyle. Albeit, Ospreay, of course, reminded everybody that he takes 8 to 10 hour plane trips back and forth to England in order to do the shows for AEW. So, and the one interesting shot he took on Triple H with all that, of course, was how he kind of mentioned that why is Triple H talking about grinding when the only reason he's in the position he's in is because he was grinding on the boss's daughter, which out of all this little temper tantrum back and forth between AEW and WWE, was about the only real good shot that AEW kind of got at the WWE. This whole situation just backfired on them. They, again, it just showed Tony Khan being petty, being unprofessional, with it. But anyways, to move on to the rest of the card, of course, from last night. The second match of the night saw Shane Taylor Promotions defeat the threesome of Katsuya Shibata and Lion Hook of Chris Jericho and Hook after a miscue between between the defeated team of Lion Hook and Shibata led to Shibata getting pinned by Lee Moriarty. And in a non-title net match, the Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada defeated Cristiano Argento in a minute 21. In a women's match, Mariah May. Prior to this, of course, Toni Storm did doing a toast, or was trying. It was suggested she was going to do a toast with Renee Paquette and Thunder Rosa. Heading into their title match at Dynasty, only to use it as a way to set up Rosa to attack her. Deonna Purrazzo came out to help out Rosa, run off Storm and Mariah May, who was also there leading into Mariah May's match. Of course, a little dust-up happened between Purrazzo and Rosa, which then eventually led to Mariah May heading into her match against Anna Jay, in which she did win, but out of frustration, Anna Jay attacked Mariah May after the match, locking her in the Queen's Lair, only for Mariah May to be saved by her tag partner from Stardom, Mina Shirakawa. And that was a pretty dicey moment, with apparently sharing a glass of champagne with Mariah May and giving her a nice kiss, in the middle of the ring. So right on the lips, mind you. So that was an interesting. And then the main event saw Samoa Joe defeat Dustin Rhodes in a world title eliminator match. In what they felt was AEW trying to cash in on Cody's win from the other night. So also aside from all that happening, AEW will also this weekend will be having its Battle of the Belts event this Saturday. In fact, they'll be having a double whammy this Saturday with Collision and Dynamite, or Collision and Battle of the Belts. As on Collision, this Saturday's episode of Collision, Katsuya Shibata will be taking on Lee Moriarty. Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson of the Blackpool Combat Club will be taking on a duo from the Don Callis family of Ring of Honor World Television Champion Kyle Fletcher and Powerhouse Hobbs. And then in a women's world title eliminator match, Toni Storm will be taking on Stardom's AZM. So that's on Collision. Then right after Collision on Battle of the Belts 10, already signed for Battle of the Belt 10 this Saturday, also on TNT. Roderick Strong takes on Rocky Romero in an international title eliminator match, in which if Rocky wins, he'll have a title opportunity at a future date. If he loses, he's pretty much eliminated from competition for the international title for the immediate future. And Hook will be defending the FTW title against Shane Taylor. So that's all we have for the AW side of things. Now, as I said, to get you caught up on tonight's on what's going down on tonight's Impact. Crazy Steve defends the digital media title against Laredo Kid on tonight's episode of Impact on Access TV. In a tag team match, two-time TNA World Tag Team Champions ABC of Ace Austin, Chris Bay take on the team known as First Class of AJ Francis and Rich Swann. In a Monsters Ball match, PCO takes on Kon. And in a non-title match, TNA World Champion Moose takes on Trent Seven. So there we go with that one, folks. So with that, now we got the wrestling wrap up out of the way. So now what we will do, of course, is we will get ready to take a look back at this day in each history. History! So, all right. So, first up, we head back 50. So today being Thursday, April 11th, 2014. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So first off, I'm going to head back 50 years ago today. As on this date, 50 years ago today, the first issue of The Inspector from Gold Key Comics went on sale on newsstands on this date 50 years ago today. It was of course, this was another adaptation. It was an adaptation of the DePatie Frayling animated shorts. The Inspector, part of the Pink Panther family of cartoons. So on this date, 50 years ago today, the first issue of The Inspector from Gold Key Comics went on sale on this date. Sold for 20 cents. was 32 pages. So with that now, getting ready to move on to the next piece in each history, moving ahead to 1994, which was, of course, 30 years ago today. On this date, 30 years ago today, from the Memorial Auditorium in Utica, New York, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event. The main event saw the Quebecers retain the WWF Tag Team Championships with, of course, Johnny Polo, a.k.a. Raven, in their corner, at the time serving as their manager. They defeated Men on a Mission, Mabel and Mo, with Oscar on this, in the main event for that. The night also saw Sparky Plug, aka Bob Holly, Hardcore Holly, defeat Barry Horowitz in just over 3 minutes. And in the opening match of the night, Diesel defeated Virgil. So that's that happened 30 years ago today. Now moving ahead to 2014. On this date in 2014, let's see. On this date in 2014, 20th Century Fox's Rio 2 premiered in movie theaters on this date 10 years ago today. So 10 years ago today, 20th Century Fox's Rio 2 premiered in movie theaters on this date 10 years ago today, back in 2014. And finally, 5 years ago today, back in 2019, on this date 5 years ago today, let's see, Mappa's Sarazanmai premiered on Fuji TV on this date 5 years ago today. So, on this date 5 years ago today, Mappa's Sarazanmai premiered on Fuji TV 5 years ago today. All right, well, with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. I will have, of course, I plan to have Tim Olson with me on tomorrow night as well, as we'll be looking back to comics that went on sale in February of 1940. And we'll be looking at books that went on sale from David McKay and from Centaur. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.